Hi everyone, welcome back to Phoenix Awakened, and we have a great show coming up for you, great podcast. I'm very excited about this one. This is all about Allison's shaman healing journey.
Jason has been excited about this one since we decided we were going to do it, and I'm just still shaking my head.
But we want to know about your experience about becoming a shaman.
Well,
the training that you did.
The training more, yeah.
The tools, the experiences, all that fantastic shaman stuff, because people love shamans.
Well, for a while, I've always felt like, as we all do, feel this connection to Native Americans. And I was reading a book and I saw the word shaman in it. And I felt this really strong connection to the word shaman. And I didn't realize it, but I felt like maybe in a past life or in another lifetime or something along those lines that I was actually a shaman. And I thought, well, how awesome would it be to be a shaman, because they get to heal people, they get to help people, they get to see different worlds. There's so much mysticism to shamans. And I thought, well, that just sounds amazing to me. And then I happened to find a teacher that was teaching Peruvian shamanism. And this teacher actually learnt from Peruvian shamans in Peru, I believe. Because she also trained under one of the guys called Alberto Villoldo. And I trained under her, and it's a very interesting journey, because you're supposed to go through all the directions of south, west, north, and east. And each direction has its own animal. I remember there's like a lot that I remember, and so much that happened that I probably don't remember everything. So when you first start, you get given the rites, and the rites are pretty much your directions. You get the serpent in south, so there's a serpent for south, there's jaguar for west, hummingbird for north, and eagle for east. And the serpent is all about letting go, shedding your skin, being really connected to the earth, because the serpent walks on its belly. Then you've also got the jaguar. The jaguar helps you travel pretty much through the shadow.
The underworld.
Realistically, it's the underworld, your unconscious pretty much. And then you've got hummingbird, who just enjoys the sweet nectar of life, and eagle, who has a higher perception. But then you also get other totems or something along those lines, and they get placed in your throat, third eye, and crown. The one in your throat is Huasca Inca, and Huasca Inca is the guardian of the underworld pretty much.
In the throat chakra.
Yeah. In your third eye is Quetzalcoatl, and to me, Quetzalcoatl reminds me of Falcor from Never-Ending Story.
Oh, the
flying dragon.
Dog
dragon.
Dragon.
So Quetzalcoatl reminds me of Falcor from the Never-Ending Story. And then on your crown, you get Pachacuti, who's supposedly supposed to be the king. Pachacuti is the king of the Incas, and supposedly supposed to be the connection to all that there is in the universe. So I went through all these directions, and I do remember going through these directions, and we had to release a lot of things. We had to release a lot of old perceptions, a lot of things that we identified with. There was a lot of fires involved, because we use fires to transmute. So there was a lot of fires involved. I remember one time we were in Box Hill, and we were in the alleyway somewhere in Box Hill, and we were lighting like little mini fires, trying to transmute all the things that we're trying to let go of. And I'm thinking to myself, I hope no one sees us here, because we're in like almost the city, lighting fires.
And this was like, because you said to me, oh yeah, we're expected to, do this at 2:00 in the morning.
Sometimes it ran to like all hours of the morning. There are some nights where it ran all hours of the morning. There are some of the things that we needed to do was pretty much stand in the center with the fire, because fire is so important about transformation and transmuting and clearing. And so fire was a lot. We did a lot of fire gatherings, a lot of firework as well. I do remember one instance that we were preparing to do a direction for training, and we had to light a fire, and I was in the middle of the backyard at a friend's place, and all of a sudden there was lightning all around. It was a lightning storm, and I'm thinking to myself, and it was raining, and my fire went out, and I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do here? Stand here while I've got lightning going on crazy around me? So I kind of just went undercover and did my fire there, because I wasn't expecting it to rain and to be a lightning storm.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting, isn't it?
It just happened all of a sudden. And I was discussing with Jason, we were talking to him, he wanted to really do this topic and I wasn't sure about it. And we were discussing it. I guess when you're in the New Age, I do apologize to people in the New Age community, but a lot of us want to rush our training. A lot of us want to rush our training and get to the destination. And what I realized is that even though I'm actually still going through training, I've stopped. I haven't practiced in any of the practicing of what I've taught, but I'm actually still doing the training even up until this day. Because we discussed that when you're actually training with a Peruvian shaman or any shaman that I've discovered, it takes you years. You are still an apprentice for years, sometimes even 30 years before you are actually considered to be a shaman. And what we were talking about is for example, when you're doing in the south, so you're letting go for the serpent aspect, you're letting go of all the skin. And then when you let go of all the skin, you go into west, and you pretty much are walking the underworld. You're walking your subconscious. You're actually going through your shadow, trying to reveal what's going on there. And you have a jaguar with you to help you. And I didn't realize that I have actually been walking my shadow, or not walking my shadow, but discovering my shadow for years. It's not a job that can be done in a weekend.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not a job that can be done in 5 minutes in a weekend. And that was what I thought at the time. Now looking back at it, I realize that it has taken me years to actually understand that I was still walking in the west direction, uncovering all my shadow, uncovering all the things that I thought that I had held hidden to me. And only now I realize that I'm actually stepping out of that and stepping into the hummingbird phase. And
which is more the sweetness.
Yeah, which is more the sweetness of life. It's, being able, because a hummingbird is able to move in all directions because of the way it flies and moves. It's able to move in all directions. So it's really interesting how I perceived that rushing through all the directions, it actually doesn't work. You're still actually working through your directions, even if you do complete the training.
I remember when I was a student, I wanted to rush through it as well. I want to be the master, in a split second. And you're right, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work
it's
that way.
It's all about the journey.
Yeah, we stopped even before we got together. What was that? We've been together
6 going on 7 years.
So it could be 10 years that I haven't done any training or anything along those lines. And I only just figured out that I was actually still in the west, now heading towards the north. So it was really interesting that I didn't actually realize that. I thought sorry if I keep jumping all over the place. It's like I'm getting all these memories back. And I remember when we were doing the training, we would get placed into a different direction. A majority of people were placed in north, but there were only a select few that were placed in West. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to be in the West. I don't want to be a shaman of the West, because that means that you're walking through your shadow or your subconscious all the time. And I just didn't want to be it. But everyone kept saying to me, no, but the teacher kept saying to me, no, but the shamans of the West, they're one of the most powerful because they can actually walk through the shadow. And I just remember going, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But now I completely understand where they're coming from.
You're clearing your stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely clearing all your shadow, all your shit, all your dramas. Your fear, absolutely. And I have now a greater appreciation for those healers that are able to do that. All I wanted was to be able to be balanced, because you've got the wheel, and if you're in the center of the wheel, then to me you're balanced, because you're actually able to be in any direction and to be in harmony with any direction and be able to use the energy of each direction by being balanced and centered.
But maybe your pathway is to do, of course, which is the journey, is going to one, healing that, working through that, going to until you become all with one within that circle.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I'm just getting, that could be the reason why I actually don't practice shamanism as a healing modality, because I'm actually doing that on my own. I'm actually practicing that on my own, in my own way. And I still do some sort of healing on myself, healings on Jason, and I still have the base structure of all that. But it's just, I have a different understanding and a different perception now.
Yeah, you've come a long way.
Yeah, it's not a 3-minute job anymore.
I can't get it out of my head and I'm jumping here, but when you're in Box Hill, how did you make a fire? Did you use rubbish, or did you have to bring your own bag of sticks? Or
no? Okay, so one of the things with training is that you have to collect anything that's off the ground, and you also have to ask if it wants to be a part of your clearing, because what we're doing is we're actually blowing our energy into either the stick or leaf, or the energy that we're trying to transmute. But you have to actually ask. So I don't know about everyone else, I would actually be walking around, seeing the stick, asking the stick, would you like to be a part of my clearing? If the stick says no, then you move on. So you're honoring everything around you. And you might be walking for a bit, because you're asking, the sticks, the leaves, the gum tree nuts. I'm not sure if everyone has gum tree nuts, but
I think just here in Australia.
Yeah, or a flower, or anything or bark, or anything from the ground. You cannot pick anything from a tree because it's still alive. So you can only pick from the ground, because
you can't rip down a branch.
No, you can't.
Chainsaw out.
No.
Start chainsawing down a tree.
No, absolutely not. No, you can only ask from the ground, and that was the only way that we're able to do it. But yeah, you might be actually walking for a while trying to find, and you do find them. There will be leaves, twigs, sticks that are wanting to be part of your transformation, transmutation, and letting go. One of the other things that is really awesome that I remember, I was at a friend's place and we created a pacha. A pacha is a circle that you make out of either anything, like any twigs, leaves, or anything like that, and you make it into a circle. And your intent is that you'll have other twigs, leaves, or anything along those lines on the ground that if you're wanting to shift something, you blow into the leaf or the twig or anything along those lines, and you put it into the circle.
Oh, you tell me about this one. Yeah, this is interesting.
And if something has shifted, then the leaves or the twigs will actually shift. So you got to go back and you give it some time, either a day or whatever you feel. And then if something has shifted, the actual leaf or twig will shift. If nothing's shifted, then everything will be in the same position. And I remember I went to India for a holiday many years ago, And I absolutely loved it. I wanted to live there. I said, that's it. I'm leaving Australia. I'm going to go live in India. I'm going to go do yoga and all those things that you do in India. And I remember that I went to my friend's house and we decided to do a pacha in her backyard. And I was asking all these questions, or I was putting the energy in for India. I had already bought my ticket. I had already organized everything to go over to India. And then I remember walking through a shopping center, and my parents, they did not want me to go. No one wanted me to go. But I remember walking through a shopping center, and all of a sudden I just had this epiphany go, what if I just didn't go? And I don't know why I had it. And I don't know what was going on in my subconscious, but I just thought, what if I did not go? And in that moment, I must have actually made a decision of not going. And I didn't care about losing any money. I didn't care. It was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just not going to go anymore, because for whatever reason, something shifted. I didn't decide to go. And I went back to my friend's house. We went and we thought, oh, well, let's go check the pachas. Mine was completely gone. Like completely gone. It was nowhere to be seen. And I have never actually experienced a shift like that before in a pacha. And then afterwards, I got a call from the airline to say that I got a full refund.
So you decided not to go?
I just decided not to go. I just let go of everything. And I called the airline. I called the travel agent, cancelled my ticket. She said, you might lose your money. I said, yeah, that's cool. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. And I just decided not to go. And I'm actually glad I didn't go, because we wouldn't be here
having this bloody crazy journey together.
So, and that, to me, that just shows a real powerful visual of what the shamanic training has taught me in when you're trying to transmute something or trying to shift something. So if you're wanting to shift something, create a sacred pacha outside, which is a circle, and have the intention of whatever it is you're worried about, whatever you're thinking about, and blow it into the sticks, the leaves, put it in there. And if you have a shift or you feel like there's a shift, it's almost like you're leaving your worries behind. And it kind of frees up everything for you to go about your day. You might actually find that you had a shift. And that was one of the most powerful moments I probably had in the shamanic training that I received.
You know what? We should give that a go.
I was just thinking the same.
We are working through so much crazy stuff, everyone. It is stupid.
I was just thinking the same thing. Because as I was talking about it, I was getting light bulb moments of going, we need to have this, we need to do this, we need to give this a go, we need to try it, because we don't know. It might be something that we would find the answer to. Because
we've been asking for certain clarity on a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. This is why it's important that we discuss this journey for us to come up with this light bulb moments and sharing it with everyone watching and listening.
Absolutely. Just all I can say for my shamanic training, even though I don't practice it anymore, it has taught me so much on my journey that even now thinking about it, I still hold like real value towards it even to this day.
Yeah, if you try it, everyone, let us know if it worked and you shifted through some stuff.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
That'd be absolutely awesome, because all we want is to be able to shift through our own stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. That's really cool. Really, really cool. I keep on getting the visuals of the animals and everything that you would have experienced. Because being a student and working through my own stuff for like over 13 years, I get where you're coming from of all that. You want it done in 5 minutes to get over and done with. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way here. So we just gotta.
But to be honest, when we were speaking about, me like still being in the West and now like emerging from the West, it's almost, I'm getting this whole emerging kind of thing going on. It's almost, it feels right. Like you can only do so much in your training when you're doing it here. I get so like because it's here in Australia and it's only for a weekend or a week or something along those lines. There's only so much you can shift, and only so much healing that you can do. But you have a whole life, even past life, parallel lives, expressions as well of yourself
that need to be healed.
That you can't do it in a weekend.
No.
And I think that's what we discovered now is like, because there's so many expressions of ourselves that requiring healing, you can't finish your healing in a week.
No.
So that I absolutely love the training. Absolutely love the training. And I really do have a newfound respect for shamans and also their apprentices who spend 30 plus years being an apprentice as well.
You have a mesa too.
I do have a mesa.
Yeah. Explain what a mesa is and what you have in your mesa.
We bring three crystals with us for each direction. And we do kind of go on a mission to be revealed any truth that we needing to resolve or heal within ourselves. And because we're actually healing that within ourselves, once we have the understanding and the healing concept of what we're doing, we blow that energy into the crystal. And because of that, the crystal becomes healing itself. And when you do all directions, you technically have 12 crystals in your mesa. And what your mesa does is it actually helps with your healing. So when you're doing a healing practice on someone, on a client, you take one of the stones or one of the crystals and you place it on the body, and that crystal will actually help to heal what is going on in the body, the energy field, or anything along those lines. No one can touch my mesa.
Oops, sorry. I had to move it the other day.
Well, except for Jason. Jason's probably the only one that can actually touch.
Sorry about that.
No, but it's the crystals inside it, really. So my mesa, or my crystals are actually covered in a cloth. And then I have other crystals that can help, or anything that I feel sacred. It doesn't need to be a crystal. It could be a jewel that I went to Egypt with, and I really felt like the jewel needed to be part of the mesa, the healing energy in the mesa. So I've got my crystals, my main crystals in a cloth that's all wrapped. Then I've got crystals or whatever else outside of the sacred ones. And then I've actually got a Peruvian cloth to wrap all that together. And then that all keeps everything safe. And yeah, that's pretty much what the mesa is. The mesa is just, if you think of it this way, Native Americans have a mesa. A mesa is pretty much a pouch or their medicine bag. Peruvian mesa is pretty much the same thing.
Medicine bag.
It's a medicine bag.
Yeah.
It's just not in a bag form.
No, it's quite big too.
Yeah, anything along those lines. So a mesa is pretty much a medicine bag. I've made little pouches, medicine bags that have crystals in them that can help people with their energy and their healing.
Yeah, the medicine bags are cool.
And stuff like that. So a medicine bag really is stones or anything that is personal to you that you feel that could help you on your journey. So for the personal, like the actual smaller ones that you wear around your neck, if you have a lucky charm, you can put that in. So that is the small mesa bags or the small medicine bags that I've made as well. But going back to the mesa, yeah, it's pretty big. Can't exactly carry it everywhere with me because it's big.
It is big. And I remember a while ago we did a clearing on it as well.
Yeah, so I decided that I needed to do a clearing on my mesa because it had been wrapped up for so long, and because I don't practice with it either. We decided, Jason helped me really to do a clearing on it to kind of shift the energy that has been in there for a long time. Yeah,
it's very cool. I know that we took it apart and put it outside and let it air out, and we might have done a smudge on it with white sage. And yeah, just did a really good clean out. It's a bit like locking up the house and not being
during
used.
winter kind of thing.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, everything's, there's no air, there's no energy flow. It's all...
Thinking about that, it probably does need a bit of another clearing actually.
Yeah, now we're talking about it. Big possibilities. It's been a big life journey in a way, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been a life journey, which I actually didn't realize until I was talking to you about it.
I know that's when I was talking about, the beginnings of infinite and all that sort of stuff. To
Yeah.
go back, it's like, wow. So you've come a long way back from, like, say, 10 years ago, and it's been a ride.
It has been a ride.
But you've got these basic tools. Well, they're not basic, but you've got these tools, and you can maybe start to call on them again to help navigate through certain things.
It's real interesting talking about it and remembering the tools, remembering the fire, remembering the pacha that I actually did forget that we could actually try and do ourselves to just have an understanding and to shift anything that we want to try and shift as well. So I do have these tools that I'm remembering now that I will probably always remember when the time comes for them to resurface again. And yeah, I just really can't get over the journey that has taken me to understand that I am still working through everything. I am still working through the wheel, and probably will be for my life journey, but it's a really good thing to have the different directions, because you got the south and the west is really about working through your stuff. And then when you get to north and east, it's to me, I'm perceiving it in a different way now. So south and east is working through your stuff, working through your shadow, letting go of the things that don't serve you anymore. And then north and east, even though they probably have their understandings and learnings and lessons, but it's really enjoying the sweetness of life and having a higher perception and being able to fly high because you've actually let go of all your burdens and everything along those lines. So I'm actually really seeing it from a different perspective now.
Yeah, it's no good, starting from the sky up, and then you wouldn't want to ever leave.
No.
And then, it's like, oh, you got to come back and do the shadow work now. It's like, bugger that. I'm not doing that. It's too good here.
Yeah. Which I'm just getting it does actually tie into the last topic that we just spoke about, being grounding.
Yeah.
I just realized that then, because I was very ungrounded, doing the shamanic training also helped me to ground in a way as well. So anytime I did any kind of spiritual work or energy work or anything along those lines, I actually felt more grounded.
Because because that particular modality is really earth connection, isn't it?
You're really connecting to the earth, because everything you're dealing with, besides the energy work, everything you're dealing with is earth, be it crystals, twigs, sticks or stones or rocks or leaves.
Earth,
literally.
Yeah, the earth element.
Yeah. So I felt really grounded when I was actually doing the practices.
Yeah, you would have.
Really in my body.
And learning how to master fire.
Yes. Oh, one of the cool things that we did, which I was always scared of fire, was actually to run your hand through it.
That's right, yep.
And I had no idea that I could do it until I tried it and realized, because you got to face a fear that the fire might not actually burn you. And once you become friends, everything is about becoming friends, which I'm just remembering now. All we're doing is becoming friends with all the elements. And then when you become friends with fire, you can run your hand. Now, the interesting thing is, you have to run your hand through the fire around the top middle section. You put it in the base section, then you most likely will get burned.
Yeah, unless you put it where the flame is.
Yeah, unless your frequency is at a level where you're not going to get burnt anywhere, and you're pretty much burning away and cleansing everything that yourself, pretty much. And I remember that we would always put light. So it's energetically, we'll put our hand into the fire, grab the light, and then put it in our sacral to fill the sacral with pure light. And then we'll do the same again with our heart, and then again with over the head. So we're pretty much covering all bases of the energy with actual fire light, like real light.
Yeah, I love fire.
Yeah, so do
I'm
I.
so sad that we can't do fire here in our little place.
No, me too.
Anyway, because I've done a lot of work with fire as well, so I understand what you're saying, and it's a really, really awesome, powerful element to work through, but it needs to be respected and honoured, because you will get burnt.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why we make candles, but we make candles because we love the light and we love the smell and
the frequency.
And I can, like, I know it's, you say like a moth staring at a flame, but literally there's something about fire that we just stare at, because there's some kind of beauty and grounding, and at the same time very meditative altogether.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work on sitting opposite like a fire or a candle and actually becoming one with it, and then moving it at my will, having it dance and shift and to the left and right and do some really interesting stuff. Or becoming friends with it, becoming one, a bit like the Matrix with the spoon, become the spoon, or that scenario.
Yeah, he's like, to realise that there is actually no spoon. It's like,
you are the spoon type thing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's really interesting stuff. Yeah, I love it. Really do.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I can remember at this moment.
Well, thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you very much.
I knew it'd be interesting, and a lot of people love the shaman modality. It's such a fascinating, mystical.
You're right. It is
energy.
Yeah, you're right. It is very mystical. I think because I feel for me, it's very mystical because there's not a lot known about it.
It's still hidden or a bit secretive.
Yeah. And I do feel that there's a reason for that, is because they're trying to make sure that they keep the energy, and no offense to anyone, but they're trying to make sure to keep the energy as pure and as sacred as they can.
Yes, because
Yeah, sorry, go.
I was just going to say, because there's energies out there that love to manipulate and invert things.
Yeah, absolutely.
To corrupt it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because just before we go, I do remember one story where the Peruvian shamans had not shared their technique. I think it was for about 500 years.
Oh.
They stayed secret for about 500 years. And I do apologize. I don't remember what year it was. I don't know if it was 2012 or 2000 or something along those lines. But there was a pivotal year where one of the shamans, or a few of the shamans, came down and decided now is the time to actually share what they're doing. But for a long time, they kept their modality, their healing energy secret.
Okay. That's pretty special. Yeah, well, thank you to the shaman. What are they? The shamans.
The Peruvian shamans.
For sharing some of your wisdom with us, because we are needing it.
Absolutely.
We need the support.
Thank you very much. And thank you to you for letting me share this story.
No, it was a story that had to be shared with the world, people who are wanting to listen to this. And I feel that it might be helpful with some people. They might go, oh my God, it's a calling, that's something you want to do, or looking at research or do something, or just even little things that you talked about.
Just remember, if you are wanting to do a practice shamanism, just make sure that you do your research and who you're going to as well. Yeah. Always the key. Just make sure you just do your research.
Want the best teacher as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And know that you probably end up on a really big roller coaster ride for your life. So be prepared, people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much again. I really do appreciate you sharing your story. And I say to people like this, she's a shaman, because she is.
I don't tell people that. I just leave it alone kind of thing. But Jason always shares, she's a shaman. It's like, calm down.
I get excited. Bit of a kid sometimes. But anyway, thank you for watching and listening and tuning in to another interesting conversation, podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Love you all.
Bye.